Hello and welcome to the Just Another Castle podcast. I'm your host Matt, and with me this week is our resident gaming journalist Eli.
Yeah, how's everyone doing?
And our retro aficionado Unoclay.
I'm not retro this week. I'm ultra with it. I'm ultra with it with Nintendo's newest Toy-Con Rockstar on the Nintendo Labo.
Nice.
That is not me. That is someone from YouTube. Sorry. I didn't even build a piano yet.
Oh, you know it's a hit when all the memes start rolling in.
I know. It's going to be the best part of it for those of us. I don't want to name or point any fingers who are sitting on the sidelines of a phenomenon of the early part of this year. So it's going to be the best part for some of us, getting the old meme traffic going, or what have you. So how you guys doing?
Good. So let's start off with our Game of All Times tournament.
For those of you just tuning in, we, the lovable hosts of Just Another Castle podcast, are using the scientific method of loud argument and clan warfare to decide our favorite game of all time. Each of us threw our 8 favorite video games into the battle arena, but only one game can win it all. Each week, 2 games will face off in a single elimination battle. Lucky listeners will get to hear us argue and vote on which game survives into the next round. It's not going to be pretty, but eventually one game will be crowned as our ultimate super duper best game of all time. And we're all going to agree about the outcome. Right? If you want to see the brackets and tournament updates, click over to www.challenge.com/justanothercastle. That's challenge, like challenge, with an O. And follow the fun for yourself. Also, for our most loyal listeners, every time there's a tie in our votes, we're going to survey our followers from Twitter for a tie-breaking vote. If you want to help out, please follow Just Another Castle or the Mango Viking on Twitter, and keep an eye out for your chance to cast a tie-breaking vote in the tournament. Leave luck to the heavens!
Last week was Pokemon X and Y versus Red Dead Redemption, and somehow Eli's reign of being able to win without even being on the podcast has ended because Pokemon X and Y won. So,
over which game?
What?
Over which game?
Red Dead Redemption.
That was sad. Sad.
Yeah, but I thought you would have voted for Pokemon XY in that situation, given that you had to miss. You wouldn't.
Nah, I would have voted for Red Dead.
Right. I thought you're like the biggest Pokemon fighter of all time. I thought you want to.
Yeah, but Pokemon X and Y is not good enough.
Okay, not good enough to topple Red Dead.
Shape up. Yeah, no, I think I put Pokemon Red as my number 1 game. So
I could contest that, but I'll let you. See, I'll let you have the fantasy about what you put for your number 1 game.
That's actually funny. Eli's Pokemon Fire Red beat my Red Faction Gorilla, and now my Pokemon beat his Red Dead.
Alrighty.
Oh, this is weird. Both Pokemon games beat out a game with Red in the title.
It's a conspiracy, I tell you. It's a conspiracy, I tell you. Plans and layers of onions within plans of onions. Yeah, it's great. Great stuff. So what do we got on tap this week?
All right. This week we have a hot one. It's Super Mario 64 versus Banjo-Tooie.
What? Is
both 3D platformers. It's
yeah. I'm going to look at the
fight for the ages.
Well, what I'm wondering is this, it can't be, but is this the first time that a system-based battle has gone down? It's both games from N64. And I'm just scanning the list now to see if that could possibly be true. And I think
it's the first one.
It's the first time the same system, the N64, has 2 contenders fighting each other on the same console even. Neat.
Oh, yeah, that's the first and only one out of the first round.
Yeah, I see that now that I'm looking. I never thought about it before.
Might even be the only one, maybe when it comes later.
Yeah. It'll depend on how things shake out in the brackets. I noticed that with you guys, given our age respective differences, you guys heavily love the N64, even if you didn't put them as your games of all time. Like, and that's just like an age thing. Whereas, like, it's really apparent to me when nobody votes for NES games, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, these are the best games of all time. Like, and you guys are like, never played it, never played it, never played it. I'm like, my God. Oh Lord. Well, interesting. Well, we ascertained that the person who submitted one of these games may be absent for the moment, and we're sort of stalling for time, hoping he jumps in.
Well, we can't stall any longer. As we said before, if you don't show up, you snooze, you lose.
You snooze, you lose.
Got to be fair.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it. But so why don't we start with you, Unoclay, because I'm sick and tired of starting.
Okay.
For the last 4 weeks, if that works for you.
So yeah, to reiterate, this is Super Mario 64 versus Banjo-Tooie, and our co-host Mike is currently absent. The last stall for time he's going to get is that I am going to defend Mario 64. We're sort of doing a little swapping behind the scenes here. It's not important.
Stop and swap.
Yeah, we're doing a little stop and swap here. But if Mike shows up in the next 1 minute before it's his turn to defend, he can defend Banjo-Tooie, and otherwise Matt's going to take it since Matt has played both these games. So
as long as he appears, if he appears after the last one of us goes or something, then I'd say that's fair to jump in. But
that's fair. That's fair.
If we pass after that, then
alrighty.
All right. So I'll let you know when you're ready. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Mario 64, I don't have to sell it too hard. It is known to be one of the greatest games of all time via most lists you'll see circulating the internet from pros and gamers alike. It redefined the Mario franchise in an era when redefining franchise was still kind of a new idea. It has a system, an entire console's controller essentially built around it, or vice versa, however you look at it. Really difficult when you go back to it, visit it these days, even if you were a pro like I was at it back in the day. So it holds up in the difficulty area. It's creative. It's got amazing music. It's surreal. It's everything a Mario game should be. I almost am at a loss for words of how to defend a game that great. The only kind of games that are better than it are other Mario games virtually. So it's really
sounds
good.
Sounds like a good ending.
Yep.
All right. There you go.
All right.
Up for Mario.
All right. And you're going to take the banjo. I keep saying Mario and banjo.
Banjo is a real word. How do you pronounce it wrong?
Banjo-Tooie. Cool. And so Matt, you're going to defend for this. I've never played Banjo-Tooie. I've watched a couple videos over the years, and I know what it's all about. So I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Well, you're in luck because I thought of some notes today and I wrote them down, which is kind of why I switched sides.
Very handy.
Yeah. All right, let's get this started. 3, 2, 1. Both games are excellent regardless of what happens, but let's start with Mario 64. What it excels at is simplicity. You have access to all your moves from the beginning, making it easy to jump in and play, but you're also able to experiment with your moves in the environment. You also have clearly defined goals, aka the star taglines, but you're free to explore at your leisure and can sometimes even still earn other stars. In Banjo-Tooie, you have to unlock moves to get jiggies, but it feels like you're growing as you unlock your skills. Unlike Mario, you don't have to select a mission. Your world has everything, providing you can think of the solution or have the move for it. Speaking of worlds, Banjo-Tooie also avoids stereotypes with a rundown theme park, a cloud island, a dinosaur world, and more. All the characters from the duo themselves to NPCs to even bosses have personality, and the funny situations they get in makes it even more of an enjoyable adventure. Banjo-Tooie takes longer to get settled in, but in the long run, I believe it's the better game.
Man, sounds like you came prepared to defend a game that wasn't even yours, bro. Wow. Well, sounds like you know how you're voting, and I'm a little surprised. Holy cow! Given that we don't have Mike here, I think Eli.
Hey, don't say anything. We'll start.
I think he's sitting in the captain's chair.
Yep.
I mean,
in the mic spot.
Wait, do I get time too?
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
No, we're about to give it to you.
So,
about to give it to you.
I'll start it in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, well, since I have not played Banjo and I've only played Mario 64,
Oh,
I think I'm gonna have to give this one to Mario. But I will say the one story I do have for Mario 64 is I remember when I was maybe 4 years old, I was really young. We took a trip to Florida, and as part of the terms of the trip, my parents had to sit through like a timeshare presentation because we got like a discount for doing that.
uh-huh.
During that time, they put me in some kids club or whatever, where I played for 3 hours straight Mario 64, and I
Wow.
remember that being like the fastest time in my life. Like before I even sat down. I mean, by the time I sat down, it was like barely any time passed. My parents came to pick me up, so I do
Damn.
remember that. So for little old Eli, the first time I played Mario 64 was mind blowing for little old Eli.
That's
All right, I'll
great.
stop you there.
What a great story. I really like it. I love hearing people's like seminal like stories of gaming and stuff like that from your histories. That's really cool. It's amazing. It makes me feel as old as an ancient rock, to be frank with you. It was I was in college, as they say, when I bought that game. The age gap becomes ever apparent whenever I'm like, yeah, I bought that on launch day when the N64 dropped in college. my like my roommates were like, what the fuck is this? When I brought it home, and I'm like, hands off, bitches. You can watch. You may not touch. No, I wasn't that mean. I would let them touch it once in a while, but not play it.
You're like, but they couldn't lick it.
No, it was soon after that a little game called Mario 64 came out, and everybody was touching the shit out of it, so it was great. So, or actually, no, I said the wrong game. Mario Kart 64. So, good stuff. Well, I think the right game won, given that
Oh, you're
Mike
wrong.
is still not there. I would like to
he's-
play Banjo Kazooie someday, but it's the kind of game that Can you be honest with me and say it's going to hold up? Like in this, when I watch videos of it, it looks really plain. It's got that empty environment problem of that era. Like when you look at it now, just the way Mario 64 does, honestly. It's a little Spartan. You run around and it's like a lot of like JPEGs glued to the wall to make texture maps, and stuff like that. Oh shit!
Coming in at the last second.
I don't know if that's called the last second or not. What happened?
gosh.
What are we doing here? What is that?
Mike, you there? I hear static.
Yo, what up?
Oh my gosh. What happened to you?
Oh, I guess we got to vote, but you know what's going to happen then, Matt. But kind of late. I got to
I
say.
don't know. I mean, the segment isn't over, is it not?
I was stalling for you, buddy. Stalling for you. I was
Good
going
stall, man. Good stall. Here's that 50.
I didn't
That,
think he'd show
here's
up. I
that
thought he was
extra
gonna.
Labo piece you wanted, all right?
I thought he was gonna show up like 20 minutes later.
Oh man! All right. Well, I guess we got to give Mike a chance to vote. I mean, Mike, you know what the vote is. I can barely hear you, Mike. Is your volume okay?
Is it all right now, or I'm
you're
gonna
good.
get to a better spot soon. Just I had to make sure I got my vote, and then I'll be right in with crystal clear.
You sound good, but you
right.
got to go now. It's time to vote.
Okay.
All right, I'll give you your time. Give you.
It's
Who's my
64
Who's my enemy again?
Mario 64 versus Banjo Kazooie, and you're not defending. We already did the defenses. You're just voting.
Wait, Mario 64 versus Banjo Kazooie? Oh,
Yeah,
two. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn, son.
I'll give you your seconds. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Everyone knows Super Mario 64. You got it when you got your N64. All right. Greatest 3D platformer ever. I mean, to this day, it's still amazing. However, Banjo Tooie probably modernized, and which is weird because it's only 3 years later, but they modernized 3D platforming. It had a bit of a better collectathon than DK64, which is actually still one of my favorite games. Man, I gotta give props to Banjo Kazooie. The best thing about it is it ties back to itself. You constantly go back with the new abilities you learn. You go and you're like, wow, this game's way deeper than I thought it would, and the game leads you in that way. However, Mario 64, better level design, better music, unforgettable, and honestly, the game's so fun that I could even watch someone play it and I'll be like, damn, I'm having a good time. Banjo-Tooie had a bad luck. We had a bad straw, man. I love Mario 64, so let's go on my vote. But much love to Banjo-Tooie.
Oh man, bam! Mario takes it.
Oh, Mike, I thought you last week said Banjo, and I'm like, all right, you know what? I woke up this morning and I'm like, I got some ideas I could vote for Banjo. Yeah, let's do this.
No, man, I'm
backstabber.
crying a little bit because I remember I was crying about where Banjo got. I was like, this is the rough life, dude. I mean, Banjo, it got a bad straw, dude. Real
This is
bad
funny,
straw.
man. Yeah, it did. It sure did. I mean, like, you guys are both really passionate about both these games, so it's like,
I think Banjo-Tooie is great. Like, dude, I mean, I've even like replayed it. Like, got Dragon Kazooie. I'm just like, this game's sick. And like, I mean, it's just so fun. Like in the series in itself, that where like it like makes fun of itself for being a game. And it's just like, damn, dude. I know me and Matt definitely voted for it, but like, still they get a 10 seed, and it's like it's just rough life. All right, we got games like Red Dead, whatever the hell that is, Red Dead. I can't think of something funny like Stankdemption.
Situation where you both kind of put these games in the middle, so that's why they ended up fighting each other. Basically, is my recollection. It's like they're both kind of like in the middle of two people's lists, so it's like, all right, that makes sense. That's why they broke out that way, to fight each other. But
okay. Well, my one complaint is there's no way Red Dead Redemption was high on someone's list. But on the super side note of that, whatever, it's the luck of the draw,
Oh, you're talking last week? Hey, I voted Red Dead. I never played either game, but I voted Red Dead because I know I'd like it better if I played it. So it's like,
damn, well, I hate you. All right, man. Well, like I said, it's the way the tournament crumbles, the cookie crumbles, man.
So you're voting Mario?
Yep, gotta vote it. I'll live and die for Mario 64.
All right, good.
Well,
it was the last time Miyamoto was good, man. I mean, you gotta vote for the golden years, dude. All right, so.
Oh man. All right, well.
well, I'll give him Mario Galaxy 1, but maybe he was like locked away in a corner, so yeah, he had nothing to do with it. All right, man, I'm gonna be like right back to get more crystal clear. So.
All right. Okay, so Mario won that one over Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie. History got it wrong. Don't be part of wrong history. Just kidding. But yeah, both games are great. If you didn't play Banjo-Tooie, Unoclay and Eli, I'd suggest it.
I'll get to it. It's one of those games I will play eventually. I'll be
honest,
not a game that's cheap. You go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I'll be honest. I don't know if you'll like it or not, simply because, like Mario 60, like I said before, Mario 64, you can like jump in, and it's simple. It's like, okay, I can jump and do whatever. Whereas, like Banjo, there is more, not lead up to it, but it takes. I won't say it takes longer to start, but I mean it because you have all these different moves and all this other stuff. It has to like build up a bit over time. But sure. I think like all the characters and stuff like make it worth it over the time. Sure. But yeah,
I'd be more worried about I'd just be more worried about the gameplay style, like not holding up as well for me in this era. That it's like those games were 3D platformers were so amazing in that era. It is not my favorite genre anymore because it got so played out. And so like my biggest worry would be like that the environments, like watching videos like I did earlier today to prepare, I was like, it just looks empty. It just looks so rudimentary compared to what you remember in your mind. Because I have that same phenomenon when I play Mario 64, a game I love, and I still feel like, wow, it's really empty walking around. You know what I mean? There's just that they were just already pushing the limits of the technology to make the game run to begin with. So it's like,
I'll say
that kind of thing.
I think I haven't like played them in a while. Well, actually, Mario 64 I played a little recently, but I'd say both those games hold up better than Ocarina of Time, to be honest. Because Ocarina of Time, it's like, here's like walk for a kilometer of nothing but like an enemy once in a while. Right. It's like, okay, they're to the land or whatever. There's too much land in between different like actions.
Right.
Whereas Banjo's like, oh, this area has
that's fair.
Like enemies or whatever NPCs you can talk to and get a Jiggy or in Mario's case a star, and then some enemies in between, some other stuff and some exploring. I think there's just more to do in the environment than say Zelda, where Zelda's like, okay, you're in the dungeon, that's all like the best parts, and then you go outside and it's like, oh well, guess I'll just wander and.
Hey, we ain't talking about Ocarina of Time yet. So if you want to use those complaints for later,
I know.
Right? But no, one thing I do think Mario 64 holds up really well to this day. So it's like I said, you even watching it, like it's funny. I replayed it during Christmas, and I was like, I'm gonna learn how to speedrun it, and I was like, this is fun. Like, I mean, I didn't get I only got like the first part of like how to get the 0-star thing, but I was like, dude, you can play this game in a million different ways. Like, it's just fun like that. You know, you can minimally get there. Like, oh, man, I barely got everything. You know, you can freaking get everything. Or you can just be like, oh, I want to play this game in a completely different manner. Or, like, I want to do, like, a challenge. Like, no hat Mario. You know what I mean? Like that.
Sure. Absolutely. The better game won. We all know it.
Yeah. No,
Sorry, Matt.
not even. Well, we'll end it there. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of variety in Banjo, so.
Perfect.
So we'll move on to what we've been playing. I was going to play some 3DS demos before we got on, but it was too close to the podcast, and I figured they'd take too long, so I didn't bother. I got a bit further in Dishonored. I don't think I'm slow at Dishonored. Well, I'm probably slower than most people in Dishonored 2, but I don't think it's just like it's incredibly long because I have OCD or something. I think the levels are just like actually like big,
very long.
But it probably doesn't help that I'm like crazy about checking everything. I'm like, I'm in a room. There's got to be something here. I think I'm gonna let it.
Type behavior.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna let go of some of that because some of the items I don't really care about. It's like, here's a tiny little perk. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna bother because there's like you have this heart that'll tell you, like kind of show the locations of the items you can unlock, so I don't think I'll bother with those. I'll just bother with like the main ones.
But
yeah, because I want to move on to God of War. But yeah,
man, you're always moving on from one game to another.
Are
you still having fun with Dishonored?
No, it's
just still having fun with Dishonored.
I am, but I also think I chose the worst. Not the worst, because there's only two. But I think I chose the poorer of the two characters, unfortunately.
Okay.
So the first game, there was only the one Corvo, and this one, it's like, oh, you can play as Corvo or his daughter. It's like, okay, I'll play his daughter because it's a new game. I might as well try something new. And they have, I don't think they really have. I think she only has the new abilities, but they're also, they like can kind of make the game easier. But also some of her abilities that are like similar to Corvo's, like to keep some consistency, don't work as well either. Like Corvo's, what you can do is possess a rat and then go into like sewers and move around and stuff like that. And hers, you like sneak across the ground, which sometimes you can get past enemies and sometimes you can't. It's really hard to figure out like how much better it is rather than crouching. So that's really weird. But you don't actually possess rats. You can just like go into the same sewers, which is weird because I can't like find. I don't think I've actually looked for them. They're supposed to be near where the rats are, but it just makes it harder to find because every level is like dark. So it's not like it's clearly obvious. So if you could possess a rat and find it, like that'd probably be easier than just, I'm just going to walk around and hopefully I don't run out of mana juice before I turn back because then someone's going to see me and I'm going to die. But whatever. It'll be fine.
I guess the reason I ask is because like I hate that feeling of when I feel like I need to hurry up and like do something just to finish a game just for the sake of it. I'm like, this is not why I'm playing a video game. It's supposed to be like to enjoy it and to like have a good time. And so I try to really resist that feeling that you're describing there where you're like, well, like you're like, I don't know. I'm struggling with that idea a lot in my life because like we all have too many games. Everyone has a backlog and you know, life is busy all the time. And I'm constantly fighting that. Like I'm fighting it on two fronts. I force myself to play games that I'm maybe not as excited about anymore, but I haven't finished it yet. And I'm also then while I'm playing it, I'm having a good time. And I'm like, okay, now stop worrying about it. Like stop worrying that you're still playing this game that you've been playing for 2 weeks or a year or whatever it is. And like, just enjoy it. Enjoy this game. Don't rush it because what is the point of playing it if you're just rushing? So I don't have an answer.
I totally get that. I think I'm only feeling a bit rushed. One, because like I ordered the game and it's in my house. So it's like, oh, well, like if the game wasn't coming out, or if God of War wasn't coming out for a month, like I wouldn't give a crap because, I can't do anything about it, so who cares? But now it's like, oh man, I wish I could play it and it's right there, but I don't like stopping games halfway through. Same with any other medium, because it's like, then you go back and it's like, well, you kind of have to figure out the controls and then kind of figure out where you were, and you lose. Like, I mean, to be fair, I have a terrible memory, so I probably wouldn't remember this story anyway. But, like, I don't really like jumping into something I have finished. Like, it's not a good feeling. I'd rather finish it. At the same time, I kind of think I would be rushing it a little bit, simply because these levels are long and I start them way too late at night, like when I don't really want to go in the basement.
You're tired, like totally.
But it's like, it's like 10:30, 11, and I should probably go to bed in an hour, but I want to play longer than that. So I'm going to stay up later. So, I just kind of want to, like, get through the levels faster, especially because, the big problem is I'm trying to be stealthy, and sometimes you can do something that'll get you, like, caught, and like, oh, well, this sucks. I had to attack people, and I don't want the bad ending where you get if you kill X amount of people or whatever. So I'm like, I'll reload my save. But loading takes time, and you have to load quite often because you make a lot of mistakes. So it's like, okay, I got to go here, quick save, and then I'll play something, and then I screw something up like 10 times, so I got to keep loading it, and it's like that also kind of makes me want to rush it, just because it's annoying to, like, keep loading. Yeah. Like in other, like Super Meat Boy, it's like, you load it instant reload. But this is like, you gotta wait like 15 seconds. It's like, crap.
Oh, it's worse than that on Doom. It's like, if you get killed, it's like 20 to 30 seconds to reload. And I mean, those are giant environments, so I totally get it. It's like, it's not like the Switch version runs slow, but it has that factor that you're playing Doom and it like kicks your ass like 50 times on like if you're in a really difficult section, or some of the challenges are really difficult like that. So I know what you're saying. That makes me rush a little bit. Like, I'll sit there and be like, God, I gotta do it this time. This is ridiculous. Like, I gonna reload again, like for the 15th time, if I don't do it, so
especially when you go for a minute or something. I'm hearing echo, so
yeah,
you might want to but especially when you go for a minute and it's like, oh great, I gotta restart this again. I gotta go back and make sure I don't kill this person and keep track of that person, blah blah blah. So it's just the reload.
You're talking to the king of doing that, Aaron. So now, what do you call it? I agree with you guys. It does suck sometimes to just go back in a game, especially when you're burnt out. It just sounds like you just want to beat it to beat it. And trust me, I platinum games that I hate. Okay, I go, oh my god! I literally was like, I'm like, can someone come in and like shoot my PS3? I'm like, oh, thank you, you saved me, kind sir. I'll bring it up a million times. I don't know how this game's getting a sequel. The Witch and the 100 Knight getting the sequel, or it's already out. I bought that game when it came out. I played it for 45 minutes. After Chapter 2, I stopped playing for 5 months. How bad it is, okay? Unfortunately, it was on my log because they would show up there, and I was like, that's disgusting. It says 2%. And I went back, and I would play at night. And I would actually fall asleep how boring the game was, all right? Like, I would actually fall asleep. Only Skyward Sword ever did that to me, okay?
I thought Breath of the Wild did that to you, too.
All right? Like, it's just, remember, games are there for pleasure. You're not forced to you're not tied down to it. As much as you bought it, and you're like, oh man, I gotta play this or I like it. You don't have to. All right, there's no mutual contract or something. So if you lost your enjoyment from the game, leave it. All right, stop playing it, man. Like, look, another example I had is sometimes when I walk away from the game, I get better at it, or it helps me out. Like, I walked away from Xenoblade the first time. I was playing all the other Project Rainfall games before you losers got it to America, because I'm cool. And so I was stuck on this boss, dude, for 2 weeks. Okay, I was like, yo, F this game. This game's trash. I ain't grinding. All right. I remember taking a shower at 2:32 a.m. Walked right out, and I'll go. You know what? I'll give this one more shot. Freaking beat it right there. The game, that wasn't like I remembered the game that much. It was just I was just stuck, and like when you're stuck, sometimes the game feels more tedious and longer. So I honestly think sometimes like when you're at these kind of moments, unless you're like giving it to a friend or selling it or something like that, it's all right to walk away, man. Like, I mean, it sucks today in today's generation of games because there's so many, like Clay said. But I mean, it's not like you're gonna be like, I'm done with the game forever. I mean, like I look at like World of Final Fantasy on my Vita, and I finally went back to it after like 4 months, and I was like, okay, like I'm advancing slowly, but let me go back. Let me have a main game and a sub game. I usually do it like that if I'm like into if I'm not looking to drop it, I'll just like call it a sub game. Like it sounds like you really just want to play Dad of War, so like.
I do, but the problem is if I drop Dishonored 2, it's like I'm gonna go all in God of War, and like have no shame about it. It's like, oh well, then I know it's gonna happen because this already happened, where it'll be like months or so later until I get back to Dishonored 2, because that's what, well, maybe not that long, but that's what happened with another stealth game. It was called Origami. I got it for like Christmas or something like that, and then Breath of the Wild, I think there was another game, but then Breath of the Wild came out in March, and that took up like 3 months. And then like ARMS and Splatoon and Mario Odyssey, and I think something else. And
yeah, but like nothing's coming out this summer.
Gosh.
I mean, the list for summer is not that big, and we know you're not getting Donkey Kong again, unless you're a Funky Kong guy, which oddly has enticed me, because I'm like, damn, this looks mad fun with Funky. All right, but I have to hold back from my Nintendo urge. All right, I don't know how they did it, but I was like, yo, I might need that game. All right, but yeah, dude, I mean, I know you're like a one guy kind of game where you're like, all right, if I'm going in, I'm going all in. But I don't know, it just it sounds like to me from an outside perspective, you're just like, dude, I don't want to play no more. And I'm like, I know that feel. Trust me, I've been a zombie. All right, like I said before, like another example. Metroid Prime 3, it was so bad, I literally just played with a walkthrough. I was like, I just want to beat this. I don't care anymore. And I just played with it. I was like, I had no soul. I folded up my lawn chair, and I freaking played on it. Yeah, because I played at my Nautilus house, so it would be in the basement. And so I was like, F it. I need it, because you have to be up by the sensor. I usually just play on the floor, freaking like an old 90s kid. Yeah, freaking folded up the lawn chair so I'll be right by the sensor, had my arm in the armrest, and freaking the phone in the cup holder. And I was like, hey, let's get through this trash. Right?
I mean, first world
I made that
problem.
decision halfway through, okay? So,
first world problems we're describing here. This is like the big game convention in Pennsylvania near Philadelphia is called Too Many Games for this exact phenomenon. I think it was the first time I realized the whole rest of the world felt that way, because at first I didn't understand why the con is called that. Then you go there and it's like, you know, like what you guys cons are like. It's like there's like an entire warehouse here full of video games you're never going to have the chance to play because you don't have the time, you know. And it's like, all right, you know, like I just struggle with it because I used to be a one game at a time kind of guy. Mike, you're like the completionist maximus, like with the stuff you're talking about. Matt's kind of like, you know, in the middle, like on this, you know, like he's a little more on your end. It sounds like, because I used to be like you guys. Now I'm a little bit like, because I have so many different like old retro things I want to play. I kind of have something going on every system, like a lot of pots on the stove at once. I'm still that way with like my main console. You know, I try not to like get huge new experiences on like Switch, like the current console is a better way to put it. You know, like on there, I don't want to like diversify too far, like on the current console. But on the old stuff, it's like, forget about it. I'm looking at it. Sitting here looking at it. It makes me feel depressed if I think about it too hard. I'm like, there's 100 games right there. What am I going to do? Like, there's literally 100 games right there.
Yeah.
But
and then, think about it. A week later, a month later, there'll be another 20. You'll be like, that's interesting. That's that. Oh, I forgot about this game. You know?
I know. I'm going to head out to some game con, and I'm going to be like, I got to get this. And like, yeah, I come with this bag of goodies, and they go on the shelf and sit here and collect dust until I get a chance to play them. It's ridiculous. A bit embarrassing. An embarrassment of riches here. But, yeah. No, I don't know. First world problems. I mean, really, it's really all it is.
I think the other part of it is just different expectations. Like the last time I played Dishonored was, years ago when it came out. So I think I figured the levels were going to be like smaller in scope. So it's also like this dissonance where, I have this mental idea of how long a level will be, but it's actually like 10 times longer than that. And like with TV episodes, I'd rather like watch one episode in one sitting. So I think the other problem is that these levels take so long that I can't finish in one sitting, but I kind of want to. So I'm like kind of rushed. It's like, okay, well, I got a little bit of time. Let's see if I can get far enough, because I'd rather experience it in like one sitting, but the levels are just too long for me to like do in one sitting at this point.
Right.
So I think that like also makes its way.
Totally. Well, good conversation.
But I'll stop talking now because I've talked long enough. Mike, have you been playing anything this week?
Nah. I think I don't really feel like I played anything new. Like I said, I went back to World of Final Fantasy. That game's all right. I have it for the Vita, but nah. I mean, I haven't really. I've been kind of busy actually. With had to catch up on the schoolwork because of the wedding stuff. So I was just like, I'll play games. Nah, I guess I have no time. Now all I did was wait for Labo. Labo. So I'm waiting for Clay. So let's give the main stage. All right.
Quick question: have you played any other like monster games? Like, I mean, I know you've played Pokemon, but like Digimon and whatnot. I know World of Final Fantasy is like that. So where would you stack that up against those?
World of Final Fantasy starts off strong, and I have a bit of a Final Fantasy bias. Pokemon's still better. I haven't played a lot of the Digimon games. I played like PS1 ones, like Monster Rancher also. I think Monster Rancher 2 will always be one of my favorite games, but I also played a bit of Yokai Watch. But I haven't got far enough to say I've played Yokai Watch, you know what I mean? Like I've done like the prologue and Proluge, all right? That and the in like the first chapter kind of thing. So I like Yokai actually a lot. I can see why it got pretty popular, different twist on it. But I would say World of Final Fantasy is pretty weak,
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's really simple game though. It's like super easy. Like the best thing about it is there's a fast forward button. So like you turn the battles, you can just fast forward. I was like, why did they just make it this speed? You know what I mean? Like,
hey, I guess they took a page out of Final Fantasy 13. Here's the play the game button for you.
Yeah. See, no, there's an auto thing, but the thing is, the auto is very different. It's not auto where it's like we're gonna make all the best moves for you. It essentially does the one move you did if you already selected a move. So sometimes I'll do that. I'm like, all right, I really don't feel like this, and I'll click it. I'm like, bro, why does this guy keep healing himself? Oh, that was the last thing I did. Okay, but yeah, no, I mean, I was interested by the story and all that, but the gameplay is just not good. It doesn't hold up that well.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, sorry to hear that.
I mean, easy come, easy go. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Nope. Absolutely.
All right, man. I just want to hear some Labo. Because I can't build. I have no art skills. All right, I traded all for sports skills in my life, and my friends all make fun of me. And they're like, "Hey, look, it's anti-Michael the game." And they're like, "You're never gonna enjoy it because you can't build." And I was like, "These are all true facts." All right, so I need to live my enjoyment off others with this game.
Cool.
Yeah, Unoclay, why don't you get into it?
Labo, however you say it. It's fun. It's what we expected. I mean, but that's for those who haven't listened all the way through all 100 and whatever episodes of this podcast. I was super pumped when Labo. What is the correct pronunciation? I say Labo, but I see it.
Yeah, because
I feel like other people are saying Labo online, and it's like, okay, but I agree. Okay, so I'm going to stick with Labo. So I just wanted to make sure I don't sound like a total doofus the whole time I'm saying it. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. But I was excited as all get out when I saw it. I've already gone over it in detail, so I'll just say it strikes me as pure Nintendo, like pure fun, pure silliness, like not totally a game. something kind of between the game. And after playing it, if you want to fast forward past the rest of this and you don't want to hear much about it, the walk away from it is it's freaking cardboard Lego. If you want to play with Lego and you find Lego entertaining, like as an adult, then get it, like for sure. Because like the problem with Lego, I loved it as a kid, like everyone does. Like I thought it was awesome. I recently, a couple of years ago, got like the Back to the Future DeLorean Lego, which is one of those cheaper kits, but I love that movie enough that I wanted that one. But that's like the only one I bought in any recent years. But I still like playing with Lego. It's just like once you put it together, you just have a little statue, and like that's cool. It looks cute. You set it on your table. But that's the funny thing to me. Everyone was like with Labo when they started announcing, like, what's it going to do? It's going to be more cardboard sitting around your house. And it's like, that's what you were kind of missing if you had that attitude. Not that you couldn't have that opinion and be right, but you don't say that about Lego. You don't say like, well, maybe some people do, but like you don't see people being like, Lego, that's stupid. What are you going to do? You're going to put it together. Then what do you got? It's like, that's not the point. It's kind of the experience of putting it together is entertaining. And that is what I've been getting out of it a lot. I, just to get right to it, I sort of started with one that looked hard, but wasn't my one I wasn't excited for. So the first one I did was the fishing rod because it looked real hard. It had a lot of pieces and the time estimate to put it together was higher than the others. Not the highest, but that's the piano.
Estimate?
I think, well, it gives you a range, so it's probably estimating like if you're a kid or an adult. So I forget. It might have said like a half hour. Like maybe like an hour and a half to 2 hours
for the fishing rod.
For the fishing rod, yeah.
That thing looks mad cool. Wow, it really takes that long.
I guess they are with kids.
I mean, I know. I mean, I wouldn't know at all like about like any. Trust me, I literally have no art skill at all. So I'm just like, for me, I would be like, I would buy it. All right, like, and it'd be like, oh, somebody.
You'd be able to do it, man. Like, I mean, like, it's like Lego. Like, and here's the neat thing that I didn't know. I hadn't watched too many preview videos because I knew I was buying it like day one. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna get it and experience it cold the best way. But like. The cartridge, you insert it, and it's real Nintendo-y. It's funny, it's quirky, it talks to you while you're playing it. You can rotate the model in 3D space on the screen, so you can look at it from all different angles while you're putting it together and stuff. And
is that the complete model? Like when you're rotating it, or while you're building it?
While you're building it. So it's like
wow.
So it's like, okay, it's like step A, here's the piece, and here's what to do. And you can fast forward and rewind time, Prince of Persia style, and like the whole time. Like you can just be like,
what? That's sick. Holy shit. Yeah. That's sick.
Yeah, you can go see what it like 10 steps ahead looks like and then rewind it back to like now when you just have a piece of paper in front of you. You're like, okay. And then like you fold it.
That's what I thought it was like Lego. It was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm like, yo, this sounds really hard. But like, that's cool. So you put in your Switch card first and then you start working with all this stuff.
You have to, basically. I didn't know that either. Like you have to, because you get the card out. And you got this box of like all this crazy looking stuff that's like all these cards that have like punch holes and you don't know what any of them are. And you're just like, this is a lot of stuff in this box. And there's like bags full of like wires and like rubber bands and like gaskets and stuff that you need to put it all together. And you're just like, this is like going to IKEA. Like I'm coming home with this shelf and I got to like read this instruction here. Like, but then you're like, oh wait, I got this cartridge. All right. And bang, you put it in. It's like it's got like a little bit of everything. It reminded me a little bit of like things that won't be such good references. Well, I don't want to say that. Like it reminds me of a lot of other Nintendo things you've seen over the years. There's a lot of DNA of like other Nintendo projects in the way it's laid out. It feels very Switchy. It feels very modern Nintendo. The mini games like remind me a little bit of like another revisiting of the idea of Nintendo Land, which I personally thought was a cool idea. It just wasn't what everyone wanted for the Wii U launch. We wanted like Zelda or Metroid or something bomb. We didn't want like mini games. And I loved Nintendo Land on Wii U. I personally thought it was really cool, really quirky idea, real cute. The mini games remind me a little bit of that. So, but don't let that turn you off, because like I haven't played them all, first of all, yet. I haven't played the best ones in my opinion, which the piano is the one I'm the most excited about. I'm going to save that one for last. And I think the remote control car and stuff like looks really interesting. I haven't done the creator studio, which is where you can like do the WarioWare, build your own programs, which is like already starting to blow up on the internet. And people are like putting out there like, look, I built this thing not from the kit. I made my own program and I made my own pieces. And here's this like thing I made, you know, like this other thing, like that isn't one of the kits that you got like in the store or whatever.
Yeah, that reminds me of like Little Big Planet, how that blew up, like people just making their own levels. It's like, look, I made a game inside of Little Big Planet, or
exactly,
I remade like Final Fantasy VII, like as a screenplay sort of thing, like just people pushing the envelope of what you can do with this stuff.
I mean, I was a big Little Big Planet guy. Like, I get you on that, but for me, I was the opposite of it. Like, I enjoyed it for the levels and like the gameplay that it was. I was like, oh, this is really fun, new style of 3D fake 3D platforming. But I never built like the levels. Like game one, no, Little Big Planet 1 is about building levels, and Little Big Planet 2 is about building worlds, which had levels and different styles of the game. Like, you didn't have to just make a level. You know what I mean? Like, you could also be like, hey, let's make basketball, and it actually worked. Like, that's why, like, Little Big Planet got so big. But it's crazy to see, like, how Labo could be, like compared to this already. Because you would think, like, oh, okay, you just build it, and that's it. Like, you know, you're going to play the required games for it. But if you're sounding like that, it sounds like they could keep going on with this idea for a while.
Yeah, go ahead. Google around, like, on Twitter, on YouTube already. I mean, there was a blog on Nintendo Life today of people showing things they're building, like, themselves. But the fact that they give you like access to the architecture to design your own programs is like really where the game, like, for a lot of people, they're not going to do that. It looks like it might be like semi-challenging. Like, it's not user friendly, but it's certainly not like Mario Maker, where it's like literally, here's a Goomba, put it on the screen. You know, it's like, it doesn't look like it's that easy either. It's like somewhere between like you know, like, you have to logically in your head program a sequence, and like, okay, so when the light lights up, I want this to move this piece, and then the Joy-Con to sense this. I mean, you know what's really cool? I could go all over the place, and I have a tendency kind of to do so, but I'm just going to roll with it here. Like, one of the cool things I just discovered last night when I was messing around with Labo, the cartridge, after I'd been finished building the house with my wife, we did a video of it. I'm going to try and like do one of those super fast forward videos where it's like compressed like an hour into like 1 minute, you know, type of thing. Because it's like, I just put the camera on the floor and then like filmed us in front of the camera, just play with our hands right in front of the camera, putting the house together, and like all the little steps of like building the house Labo or whatever. I don't know if it's called I call it the doll house because that's what I thought it was, but it turns out it's different or whatever. And I was like, yeah, my wife will like that. It'll be like, cool. Look, we're building a dollhouse together or something, you know. And then it turned out it was like sillier and weirder once you got it completed or whatever. But one of the neat things is like in the menus, I haven't experimented with it too much yet. They have like really neat area that's like definitely smart for people with kids. If you have kids, get this thing. Like, don't even think twice. I mean, because there's so many cool things about it that make it like, it's definitely edutainment like type of thing, because there's a section where you can just sit and watch videos of how Labo works inside. And this was really cool to me. Like, it's like on the cartridge, there's a video you could just watch of like, they put a camera inside a Labo when it's running, and then you could see how the IR sensors inside, they put like not like a black light, but something like that. They put like a special kind of camera lens or a filter so you can see the light. I don't know how to describe it. The light switches inside Labo moving and interacting with the Joy-Con. Yeah, with the stickers, exactly. Because like, if you don't know, the big secret is the stickers. There's stickers you're putting onto the Labo while you're building it, and then those stickers are sensors that like interact with the Joy-Con's IR reader, and that's how it gets its information.
That's that glossy thing is? That's the sticker? Like, it's just... Yeah. Okay, so...
Yeah, it reflects light.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and Billy was saying something, like, I was talking to him, he was just talking about how, like, genius, like, Labo is in itself. He's not talking about, like, Nintendo, he's just like, wow, this is, like, really cool as someone who just likes technology and like all this other stuff.
Like it's like you're building cardboard clockwork is a way to put it. Like, it's freaking nuts. Like that's what we're getting to here right there. That's the core that I would want people to walk away from. Like, if you don't know about Labo, or if you're not sure and you're on the fence, it's like building Lego where there's an interactive video game component to it, but that's not the main point necessarily. It's like the fun of it, where it's like Lego, where like if Lego had a video game part of it where you're like, oh, now we'll just show you like how it works inside there, and we'll show you the gears and stuff like that. But you put it together, and now you have like this like kind of relationship to it. You're like, this is freaking crazy that this works, is how you feel the whole time. Like the fishing game, it's freaking hilarious. Like it's got pulleys and weights inside it, so that when you're doing the fishing, you literally are doing the tension of like a fish pulling on your line, and then you got to yank it real hard to make the fish yank, and it's completely 1-to-1 with the screen. So like when you yank on your rope on your fishing line, you see that fish jump on the screen, like you yanked it a little further up in the ocean.
You can actually get like tension.
Yes, it's got a balance. It's got like what they did was I don't want to spoil it too much, but like it's with rubber bands. They create tension inside the gears that so when you're reeling it in, it's trying to pull back. Now it doesn't force feedback on you. It doesn't force feedback like yank the rope back, but you have to keep giving line back because the fish is trying to run away with it, and it's got like the rubber bands like cause tension is the best way to describe it. It winds up to a certain point.
Stupidly more specific. So when like a fish tugs on it, like it'll actually give tension based on that time.
I'm trying to remember right now if it does. Like I'm holding it in my hands, but I don't have my switch in it right now, and I'm trying to remember. I know what happens is, all right, I'm cranking it. You can hear it. Mm-hmm. It even has sound effects because you build tabs on the inside of it.
What?
You build tabs to make sound, like a bicycle tire.
That's cool.
So, yeah, like I'm literally doing it as close as I can to the mic. Like, but okay. So I don't think Like I'm just trying to remember. I don't think the fish yank back on you. It's like what's happening is you're winding up rubber bands inside it, so it's like creating tension, like on the line as you're reeling. So I'll get back to you on that because I just can't remember. I played the fishing one for about like 30 minutes.
That would be crazy if like they could actually change it so when a fish pulls, like it yanks back.
I know what it is. I know what it is. It's when the fish grabs you, your Joy-Cons start buzzing, so it feels like you got a fish on your line. That's what's throwing me.
That's so cool.
It really is though. Like,
and it's hard as shit. It is hard as shit. I'm telling you what. Like it's like a best of 3 type thing. Like you go fishing in the deep sea, and it's your classic Japanese kind of like catch a fish kind of game, like a lot like in Zelda or other games like where you might have run into that. Like I swear, Japanese people are obsessed with like a fishing mini game and like everything. It feels like from back in the day, but like it's like that, and you're like the screen / real life interaction is really, really cool. Like it looks completely legit. Like it looks like your wire is going down into your Switch screen. It's hard to explain, but you're trying to catch the best score of 3 fish you can. And then I guess the only thing you can really do with that is like post it to Twitter or whatever, like, or post it to your file, or, like via your Switch or whatever. Like you can do that. Like, but like you're trying to get like the 3 high. You want to get the 3 best fish you can in a round of 3, so you get the highest score. But I'll tell you what, catching 1 fish is fucking hard. Like you're just like, damn, this guy is getting off my line like every time because you've got to like fight the fish. You really do. It's like once you got on your line, it's not over. It's like he's trying to get away. And he'll break your line at the drop of a hat if it's a big fish. And you just got to like give it a lot of line. You got to give back line the whole time. You're like reeling it out. You're reeling it out just like a real fisherman. And then like you wait for that moment where you see him like turn back toward the hook. And then you're like, reel it in. Get him. And like, that's the crazy thing. Cause like I saw a picture of like one of the rarest fish on I think it was on Twitter yesterday already. Somebody already caught it. And it's like, I haven't even gotten it to take a nibble because I don't even know how. I'm just like, down there in the depths, like you can see the shadows of the biggest fish like swimming around, and you're like, I've tried to catch a swordfish, which is one of the bigger ones, like 3 times, and he'll take my line and he'll break my line in like a split second because it's all about that timing. It's like one of those kind of games where you're like, it's all about the timing. You got to instantly be ready the second he gets on your line to start like giving him some play, and then reeling it back in, and then you got to fight him up from the depths. So the best fish are really down deep in the ocean, and you're like, oh shit, this is going to take me a while, is what you realize. Like, I'm not going to finish the fish mini game today. Like, I'm not going to like.
That's so cool because I really like fishing mini games, and I've said it before, but I was kind of like, I was kind of like bugged when Skyward Sword and Breath of the Wild didn't have fishing mini games or some kind. Because I'm like, I kind of get it because you're in the sky, but there's still water, so screw you. And then Breath of the Wild, it's just like, yeah, we just gave up. You can just dive in and like capture them. I'm like, that sucks. You're a jerk. fix that.
Are you sure you're not like a little Japanese man? Like, because I mean, you haven't seen me before. I never heard someone say they fish minigame before. I never heard that.
Yeah, freaking fish minigame, dude.
It's fun. So yeah, oh man,
you'll have to play this
hurts,
sometime, man.
but also is like amazing.
You'll have to play this sometime. You'll really enjoy it. Like, you'll find it really funny. It's cute, and that's what I'd say. But the only other one I've played is The House.
So before you really get onto that one,
yeah, sure.
I just want to say, sorry. No, that's fine. Great, now I don't know how to say it. So when the Switch launched and it had all these different accessories inside of it, it kind of felt like unnecessary. Like, oh wow, you shoved all this random technology in just for like some dumb 1-2 Switch minigame collection that people aren't going to bother buying anyway. Wow, that's stupid. But then, like, all of the technology in Labo is, well, I don't want to say all of it, but a lot of it is based off of reflective tape, and the only way that works is the right Joy-Con has that IR sensor with the camera.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess they, like, actually thought ahead with this. Either it's a miracle that they just had this stuff in it and then designed something around it, or they planned it. They probably planned it, given how, it hasn't been that long into the Switch's life cycle.
Yeah.
So it's actually kind of ingenious that they put all this stuff in there so they could make this. Because usually what Nintendo does is we have some crazy thing and then we use it once and maybe we'll have some random accessory for it after, but that's about it. Whereas this is like, oh no, like it's only a year in and they have this, and it seems like they basically planned for it. So that's kind of smart.
It could be column A, it could be column B when you say that.
Like, I'll give them the credit.
It's hard for me to say because Nintendo is really good at like doing that kind of open-ended build to their hardware, like all the way back to the NES has like an expansion port on the bottom of it, and they never used it, but it was there, and it's like kind of like
I guess like future-proofing in a way, like, oh, this would be cool technology that we might use. Let's stick it in.
Yeah.
I'll give them the credit for this because it's not like it's like 3 years into the life cycle and then they're using it. It's like, oh, well, they could have easily planned this like 2 years ago and only are now coming out with it because, insert X number of reasons why. Like, I don't think it's been that long where they couldn't have planned it. So, or maybe they at least had like some semblance of an idea. And they're like, well, if we do this, we would really be killing ourselves if we didn't put it in because there's no way. You can't make an accessory like that after and expect it to like do well because you're expecting people to buy more, like Wii Motion Plus. So, whatever. I'll give it on them. For that.
No, that's great. I mean, I think you're right. You know what's interesting? This is the first time I've ever seen this. Name another video game, either Mike or you. Name another video game where the game updates your controllers when you first install it. Has ever happened to you? Because I can't think of one.
I got one. I have one, but it's not a Nintendo game. Actually, you know what? I don't know if this really counts, but the closest thing I could think of is Ratchet and Clank Future, the first one that came out for the PS3. Now, if there was two types of controllers that people forget the PS3 had, there's a DualShock, everyone knows, and there's a 6-axis. Okay, and Ratchet and Clank Future, that game, it had a I don't know if necessarily had an update, but essentially you couldn't do you kind of missed out on a little mini thing where if you didn't have the correct controller where you can move you would fall down. I can't remember exactly, but I remember free falling off a plane and all that, and it was only because I specifically had like the correct controller for one thing or whatever. But it probably didn't update it, but like that's the closest thing I could think to it. You know what I mean? Where it's like, here's a situation, a specific controller that Sony made versus their other products that you could do something with.
Yeah, I remember one of the weapons was designed around that. I think you had like a ball, and you would like rotate the controller to like hit it into enemies. Do something like that. One of the items.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of controllers themselves like getting software
updated or whatever. Like that's pretty cool.
That was a lot. That's like your first minute with Labo. It's like you turn it on and it's like, hold on, updating your controllers, and you're like, wait, what? Like, and it's like
what can you possibly do to it?
Yeah, it's probably installing some kind of like, it's probably, I don't know. I would love to actually know the answer to that, if it's the controllers or if it's a euphemism and it's really like they're installing some kind of firmware update that like in the Switch, obviously, that interacts with the Joy-Cons. I mean, my Joy-Cons weren't even connected at the time, which doesn't stop them from updating something about it, I suppose. Like, it could still do it, but it's like sending it like some packet of data to like know how to interact with that reflective tape, which is what reminded me of it when you were talking about this. So it's like, oh yeah, it did that too. Like, and it's just mysterious because you're just like, okay, fine, update my controllers. That sounds good. And then it's like, all right, Labo, all right, now I'm doing cardboard. I don't even remember about that, you know, like you're off the game, like, you know, but like, I mean, the house is cool.
Yeah, tell me about the house, because that's like...
That's the one you're interested in?
Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but it's like the most not obvious...
The house? Come on. The only one I care about is the one that's not even out, the robot.
Well, he only set up the fishing rod.
Yeah, so I know.
But it's like the weirdest one because it's like, oh, okay, yeah, you can understand how like a motorbike works, or a piano, or a remote control car or fishing rod. Like those seem like obvious uses, whereas the house is like, oh, we just thought of some random like Tamagotchi-esque thing here to like beat around this creature. I love it. It's so weird. Tell me about it.
Yeah, that's like you clearly did your homework more than I did, because I didn't know anything about the Tamagotchi like kind of aspect of it, which to our listeners, if you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Just think, I mean, what would you say? Like a sim, it was
like a handheld. Yeah, it was a virtual pet. You had like this little handheld device and you could feed it and it would poop and you would clean up the poop. And then
it's what Digimon's based off.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So like, I didn't know that going into it. I have to be honest with you. My sexist guy brain assumed it was like a dollhouse. Like I was like, all right, like this is for the girls in the audience, like who want to play with like ultra girly
like
toys.
A great Raggedy Ann.
Yeah, well, I was like, not that like girls should want to play with those toys or not. I don't care one way or another. It's like, but like I thought that's like they were throwing him a bone in that way, that it's just like, all right, well, we got the like robot pack for the boys, you know, like, all right, we got like, not that girls shouldn't play with those either. I'm not saying that. Like, it's like, we got to throw something in the other direction here that's like a little more like chill toy or whatever you want to say. All right, I'll stop with that and like move on. But that's what I thought about it. And it's like, and I was wrong. It's something different and it's really quirky. And Matt, I'm going to just, and for listeners, I'm going to like, I won't be super specific, so that you can discover it, because there is 100% an element of like play with this and discover for yourself to it. So that sometime if you get a chance to check it out, you'll still have that opportunity open to you and you'll have the same fun I did. But I'll tell you this, it was easier than building the fishing rod. I wouldn't say either were very hard, but I will say this, like where Mike puts himself on the low end of the skill, the crafty shit, I'm not bragging to say I'm actually not terrible at crafts and arts and stuff like that. It's something I do a lot of. Building these Labo were like a little too easy for me because they're so intensively instruction oriented that it's like a Lego kit where it's like, that was always almost my thing with Lego. It's a little too straightforward. Like you follow the directions, you build it, you're done. Like, and it's very well designed that there's a little bit of a challenge, but nothing that is going to stop you from finishing your Labo as long as you pay attention. And I will say that. And like the house was easier than the fishing rod, which meant it was a perfect one for my wife and I to do together. I didn't really know that going into it. I just thought she'd be more interested in doing it than she would be like a race car or something like that.
Oh, you guys did it together too? That's cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I did the fishing rod by myself first to get a feel for it. Then I was like, check this out. And she's pretty crafty too. She likes at first I said she's really into like drawing and like art, like visual arts and stuff like that. I was like, well, you can like do patterns on the side of it and like color it and stuff like that and like decorate it. And like she was totally into it. Like she was like, all right, that sounds fun. And then I kind of tricked her and was like, are you gonna help me put it together too? And she's like, huh, all right, you know, so all right, we'll do this. And I just kind of like if I do end up using the video I shot of it, like you'll see she does most of it, because I just kind of like I'm handing her pieces and like, you know, I'm not going to use the audio from it, but like on mic, I'm like just telling her what to do. I'm watching the TV and fast forwarding the video and stuff and telling her like, all right, now fold it in half, now do this, now do that, like put the tabs together, whatever, you know. And she was having fun with it. She thought it was entertaining. Like it was like, I have a feeling her takeaway was she was like, yeah, that was almost easy, like because we're both kind of crafty people, like, but it was entertaining. And the reward, she didn't care about it at all. Like playing the video game to her was like, all right, I'm done. See you. Like she watched for a few minutes and was like, that's kind of cute. That's neat. It's got the Tamagotchi, like kind of virtual pet stuff. But then there's video games in there, like little games in your little pet's house, and you have to manipulate the environment in different ways to get to play them. And I'm not even sure if I found them all yet so far, like because there's different ways to manipulate things. And I guess this is where I'm getting a little vague on purpose. Like, but you do different things to manipulate the environment differently, and then new games pop out, and there's not much like guidance. It's all about you playing around and like figuring it out for yourself. Like, oh, what happens if I do this? Oh, crap. Oh, look at this game popped up. You know, like, oh, okay, all right, we'll do this for a minute. And like one was pretty hard, and I spent about a half hour playing one of the mini games, and then the other ones I played for like 5 minutes, and I was like, this is really easy. And again, this is important to know. I would say, like, don't go into these games. I don't know what's going to be like with the other 3 Labo that I haven't built yet, but don't go into them thinking these are going to be freaking Legend of Zelda. They're not. They're mini games. They're going to be
what the hell? It's not Legend of Zelda?
and for you,
all right, well, there it goes. It's not Game of the Year anymore.
It's not on either. You know, it's like for Mike. You know, it's like it's fun, it's entertaining. And you should come into it with that attitude, and you'll totally have a good time. You know, if you had kids, like, I have no idea what they would think. If they would think it's entertaining for 5 minutes, if they would like really get into it, it would definitely depend on the age group.
I think it just depends on like not only the age group, but like like probably the people who would like get it. Like like I mean, I was a big Lego guy, so like maybe like if I would get it way back when, it would be like, oh, this is awesome. You know what I mean? But like. Maybe to like some people who aren't builders, like it's not. But what if they have like a dad? Like what if you're the dad? Like you're a dad and you're a big crafter guy. I think it's a cool like experience for everybody with it. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to like crafting too much. Like you're like, oh, I like the mini games more. Like, dude, I used to play like the Wii Play mini games with my mom all the time. You know what I mean? So
total.
Like it could be we could like the post game thing, not the pre game of building.
and you could make fun out of that. Like if you had kids or something like that, or you just are that kind of gamer, with these mini games, you could make a game out of it. Like the fishing mini game, like from what I can tell, it's just fishing mini game. They're like I could be wrong. I haven't played with it enough. I probably spent only maybe 30, 40 minutes playing it. But like from what I can tell, there's not a whole lot more to it. It's like you're gonna play fishing, and then you're going to X out of it eventually and be like, all right, I played them. It's like almost like a phone game, like literally at that level that you're like, okay, It's a phone game. It's fun. It's not supposed to be Game of the Year. It's supposed to be like something you do for a few minutes and entertain yourself, and it's neat and you show your friends. But you could make a game out of it. You could be like with your friends, like, all right, who can catch the biggest fish? Like, or, do a silly YouTube video with it or whatever, or have a family competition, like, and say, all right, write your, take your screenshot of like the biggest catch you get, or whatever. That would be super fun to do something like that if you have other people you're going to play it with, or a party. I was even thinking like of it at a party that I was trying to think, would my friends get this if I bust out the fishing reel at a party and I'm like, all right, catch a fish. And I'm trying to figure out if my adult friends would get it or if they would like be like, I don't get this at all. And I think they would. So I think I'm going to try it.
That'd probably be like one of the few that would like work.
I feel like it's one of those things where it can just keep building off on itself. You know what I'm saying? Like where it's just like, like, oh, okay, right now it's comparable to 1-2 Switch, but then like, you know what I mean? But like you can look at it later on, like they could add so many things to it. It's like we said before, Little Big Planet-esque.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't even be like, oh, like, yeah, maybe for a few minutes or whatever, but or like, I play it for the hour and I'm good. But I look at it. There's still the robot to come. There's probably updates for more games. Like Nintendo's not gonna be like they're not gonna make something and then obviously sell extra parts for it just to discontinue it immediately. Yeah, I mean to abandon it with just base game.
Well, yeah, they even showed in one of the trailers some other Labo creations that like aren't in any of these kits yet. So they've already.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, they kind of teased some other stuff too.
They teased that there's more, and there's like, and
I
then
mean,
you saw
it's
today.
called like Toy-Con Kit 1 or whatever. So there's going to be like at least 5 of them or something.
That's cool.
Totally.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Totally.
It'll be cool.
Yeah, you saw today, Matt, like they're doing a huge advertising push. It's like enormous in Japan that
I've seen like YouTube ads.
I was gonna say that's part of some of the news I found. They have a special one for Japan only on their Amazon Japan.
Oh, really?
It's for There's a series called Yatsuba, and they have a special robot based off him. So they have a special cardboard based off him. You can order it from Amazon. It's an Amazon Japan exclusive.
Shut up! Are you serious? This is real?
Yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah. So YOTSUBA. All right, you look that up, and then you just type in Nintendo Labo, and then
I found it on a website.
Yeah, it's like
that's cool.
Yeah, you know,
already
stuff like that.
Oh, that's that cardboard face I've seen.
Right. Yeah, see?
Gotcha.
So like maybe hopefully they could do something cool here with that too. That'd be badass.
Oh man, that makes me so happy to see that. Even though it's exclusive, it's like not like I'd want it. I don't know who this character is. It's more like because we could get like a Bender robot one if they did a licensing deal with like future.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, it's a Bender as Homer-esque one.
They would never brand up with Bender. Let's just like get that out of the way now.
With the cardboard cigarette and like beer bottle.
They gotta find a lot. They'll do Wally or something, like over here, But
that would still be cool though. That'd still be cool. Like, I mean, anything obviously would be dope. So
we're getting Minions. I'm sorry, it's gonna be Minions, bros.
it's all about the Minions, man.
No, but
always has been, always will be.
That So like we've talked long enough about it. I know it's the main news of the week, but I mean like the bottom line is like, I said it to begin. I'll say it to wrap. It's like cardboard Lego. If you ever feel that urge, you go in the store and you see Lego and you sort of think you miss playing with Lego. If you have that in your heart that you're like, that Lego was always fun. And then you talk yourself out of it because you're like, number one, that is like $50 for a box of plastic bricks. That is insane. And
I haven't ever wanted when I got older, but I was like, I loved it for what it was. So
right. And you're like, oh, that looks so cool. You're like, I wish I could put together a Lego because like now they're crazy cool. Like all the different like branded sets that they come out with for like whether limited edition or not, whether you're insane and you're buying like the Ghostbusters Firehouse for like $600 or you're buying the Death Star for like $1,000, like whatever, like
whatever,
like whatever, not a big thing for some people, I guess.
Whatever.
Or you're getting even the cheap kits are expensive. Lego is not a cheap toy, and if you still have that in your heart, like, this is $70, but I've had a lot of lols, as the kids say, while I'm putting it together. That like that's why I think like if you are interested too, like not like watching full on videos of everyone putting it together or whatever is part of it, because that's going to be the fun. The piano is the one that is the ultimate one. I still promise I'm going to try and write us a theme song on the Nintendo Labo piano, like when I get it put together and pipe it into GarageBand or something so I can record it. Nice. But like I'm telling you, like. This is fun, and I'm like you guys are saying, like there's so much potential here, like that there could be more kits, or just I don't know. Like I'm creative, but I'm a little stressed out with the idea of like using it to build my own Labo, because like honestly, like I can see how it would be such a time sink. It'll be insane. We were rapping for quite a long time here about like how much we don't have time to get through our backlogs of games, and that causes me to sweat when I think about it. The same way Mario Maker did for me, that I'm like, I don't have the time to sit here for like 17 hours and build levels. Like that's crazy. Like, like I don't have that kind of time. And just looking at the stuff people have already made with their like IR cameras on the Labo creation kit, just the really rudimentary stuff that people have done in the first couple days it's been out. I'm like, oh, I can tell that took you forever. Just like looking at it, and I'm like, oh my God, like these songs people are already playing on it. Or just the little mechanical creations they have running, up and running already, like the WarioWare DIY type things that they have up and running already. I'm like, look at that programming screen. I can't even think what you did to do that. Like that's, and I haven't even tried it yet. But I'm intimidated by it. But we'll see if I get to that point. Like for now, I'm going to kind of take it like a few days between each one. I'm not going to rush through the whole box right away. I did 2 of them this weekend. All right, I'm all set for a couple days. I'm going to wait a few more days, and I'm not sure if I tackle the
which one I tackle next. I'm still thinking about it, but looking forward to it. Super fun. It's worth the $70 I paid for it. That's all I can say. I'm psyched about it so far. Cool. Fishing mini game up next tonight.
Awesome. One thing I do want to add is I see so many trailers for VR games because I'm subscribed to Game Trailers, and it seems like once every week I get just a buttload of trailers coming in my feed, and a lot of the times I'll see like some VR games, but the robot one looks like a VR game, but actually fun.
Oh, interesting.
Just because, it looks simple, like a VR game, where it's like, oh, you have like this little playground you can like mess around with, which is a lot of VR games, but it also looks like it's actually fun compared to some other VR games that I've seen.
Now that one isn't yet, right? Like they haven't unleashed the.
That's May, I think, right? For the robot, May.
Nope, it's out the same. Yeah, it was out the same time as the first one.
Was it? Okay. Okay, because I wasn't sure. I didn't see it at the store when I went in there. Like they had them in the back. Like so, it was like you came in. There were signs everywhere for Labo, but it was like I didn't ever get to look at it, until they put it in my hands. It was just like that standard, like yeah, this shit's locked away. Oh, that's a funny story, like in itself, like a very nutshell story. But I'm at GameStop, of course, like to pick this up, and I could tell like the chick handling me didn't like have too much of a knowledge of what Labo was. She was like offering me God of War, and I like made a joke. I was like, "No, I'm here for the cardboard." And she's like, she just kind of smiled, but I could tell she didn't get it. And I'm like, "No, I'm here to pick up the Nintendo Labo." And she's like, "Oh, okay." So she just goes to get it, and she comes back and she does the standard GameStop spiel on me. She's like, "So, would you like to get the 2-year warranty on that?" And I look at her dead in the face and go, "Are you really going to sell me a warranty on a box of cardboard I'm going to take home and cut up?"
Yeah, yo, you. I mean, you didn't want the warranty, Clay? Scrub.
I said that to her, and then I see her coworker over next to her give her the look and stare down and give her the like tiny nod.
Like no, he's not an idiot. On to the next one, guys.
Oh, we're not doing warranties on those. He goes, "You can't sell them a warranty on Labo." He's right. I was like,
I mean, technically,
we promised to give you more cardboard, all right? And then like you're looking at it, you're like, wait a minute, that Amazon box, okay?
Yeah. So funny. I was like, all right, well, like I guess I should have taken it and shut up, and like, all right, I'm gonna do an Eli on this. I'm gonna return this box to you, all like put together, like all.
Sell it back to him. Be like, yo, is this what you guys wanted? And you're like, oh, my Labo didn't come the way I wanted. Give me the $20 cheap one. Okay.
I was not able to catch the swordfish in the fishing mini game, so I'm giving up. Fuck this. This is stupid.
Sorry, it's soggy. I wanted to make it realistic, so I poured water on it.
Sorry, it's soggy.
I dipped it in water to get full immersion.
Yeah, I'm going to return it because I went to go fishing with it, and it just didn't work. Like promised.
You guys are killing me. Yeah, sorry, it's soggy. It's something I'm very used to saying in stores, but not for this reason. We'll leave that alone. So. Oh man, too much, guys. Yeah, it's fun. It's super great. I'm loving it. I got my fishing rod and reel right here on the desk next to me, and I'm like looking forward to casting out a line after we finish up here tonight. See if I can up my score because I don't want to post my pleb score on Twitter. Like when I got like a few good fish, and I was like, I got to do better than this. I got to catch one of the big ones before I come back, go on the internet with it and see what people say, if that's a good score or not, because I'm like, how do you even tell? It doesn't have leaderboards or anything like that, at least not right now. So it's just like, I don't know if I did good. It's just like so Nintendo of them. It's like, nope, you did good if you think you did good. You're like, okay, cool.
You're the best. All right. And somebody's going to be like, yeah, I only caught 412 fish today. I'm kind of off. You're like,
congratulations. It's like great. I want more than that, but no, cool. It's good.
I feel like this is their Wii Sports for Switch, like their Wii Sports, Wii Play. Like it's like I have that vibe from it,
It's like not a spoiler. That's ridiculous talking about spoilers for Labo, but you're right there. One of the mini games inside the house is indeed bowling, and I said that out loud.
Sick.
And you use the gyro to control it instead of using your arm, to throw the ball, you use the gyro to control the bowling ball. And like I said to my wife out loud, I said, "Oh my God, they freaking squeezed Wii Bowling into this thing." You know,
but like, see that, like, that's cool because like I didn't know that was in there. Like honestly, I like the best thing I want is the piano, and I'm like, you know, and I'm just like looking at it, I'm like, but I wouldn't buy it just for the piano. It's cool that there's more than there was advertised. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's why I kind of like the house because it's so like, what do you expect? Like I've seen a couple of videos on it, but it's like, what do you expect out of this thing? Like it's the most random one, so that's why I think it's one of the coolest.
I mean, just to clarify, it's not Wii Bowling, but it's a bowling game that you play with your little guy, and so it reminded me of it right away. I was like, oh my God, these guys are too much, like laughing out loud kind of thing. Like just like the way they figure to stuff stuff in there that is like real cute little like funny ideas. Like, oh, everyone who has ever played, everyone who's holding a Switch in their hands right at this moment has played Wii Bowling. So you know they're going to love this. You know, that's the thinking.
Wii Bowling is not just like a thing, it's a phenomenon, dude.
It's like, a phenomenon. Right?
Like it 100% was, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. So that was cool. I got pumped about that. I sat there and played. It's surprisingly hard because you use the gyro for it. So it's like, fuck, a lot of yelling fuck going on.
But since you're using the gyro for it, how do you feel about the gyro for the Switch? I mean, there's a direct comparison.
It seems very apt for this. I don't use it a lot, so I'd say. Yeah.
I mean, was it on point? Like, you're like, wow, it's very, you know what I mean? Like, more sensitive. Or just as good as the 3DS one?
It's a bowling mini game, so yeah, it probably, you know, I never used the gyro a ton in any game other than Kid Icarus on 3DS. I'm trying to think.
I mean, I did it like a few times. I did it on 3D Lands just to do it. You know, like anytime it's like those things are featured, I'll just like, oh, let me try it out. You know?
Yeah. I don't have a strong opinion on it. I thought it worked fine on the 3DS when I used it, and this seemed to work fine too. But it's in such quick bursts. It was hard to test it because you're literally like throwing a bowling ball down an alley, and so you got like 4 seconds, or like not even like 2 seconds, you know, to like do any gyro in it all, you know, before it's like you're hitting the pins, and you're just like, oh shit, because you can really steer it for sure, but you only have like a tiny little window of time. But it seemed like it worked great. You know, I was able to get a strike once or twice, and then I was like, all right, that's great. I played some bowling. Okay, cool. Next. You know, like you do with mini games or whatever. So,
you're just going through everything.
I was like checking it out. I was trying to figure. My wife was watching at that point, so I was trying to figure out like, because she was actually pretty good, I'd say, at figuring out how to get new mini games to unlock. Because she doesn't have any gaming bias or any like pre-history or anything like that. So she would just say, try this, and like faster than me almost. And then she'd be like, try this. I'd be like, okay, all right, let's try that. All right, oh, look at that. There's another game there. Okay, look at that. Like another game. Oh, you're doing pretty good at this. All right, slow down, honey. We're not playing the game at all. You know, like, but it was fun. It's good.
You're like, I want to play with my cardboard.
Yeah, no, I was like, well, she was like, she did feed the Tamagotchi a couple times. She was into that. It was like we were giving him food and giving him treats and stuff. So she was getting the Tamagotchi part of it. Like she was kind of into, like, in a like, oh, that's cute kind of way. Like, let's take a look at this, like, and humor my husband for a few more minutes. Who wants to play with this cardboard, you know, like, or whatever. So yeah, it was good. So yeah. So anyway, you know, Wii Bowling sort of a callback to that in there too. So
that's Labo.
Labo.
About
Labo
up there, just because it's been so long. There wasn't really too much. I'll keep some of it for next week. The one thing I do want to bring up quickly, because I just want to hear Unoclay's reaction, is apparently Night Trap is coming to Switch.
Fuck yeah, dude! Mike, you know what Night Trap is? Like you probably
not at all.
Oh man, it's the notorious. I have never played it. It's the notorious game that partially. Well, it didn't lead to the ratings board advisory being informed for video games, but it was one of the games cited when they had congressional hearings about like why video games need a rating system.
Oh, they were one of the first people that like made ESRB kind of things. Like,
yeah, they were one of the games cited because it's one of the first games with the full motion capture, like screenshots in it, where it had like real movie in the game. And
yeah, you go on.
Go ahead. No, please go ahead. You were going to say it was basically...
it's basically like a horror movie where... Wow, I should have let you go. It's basically like a horror movie mixed in with not a sorority, but like there's a bunch of girls having a slumber party sort of thing, and then there's
like shit! No, I know this game. They made fun of it in Danganronpa too. And,
it's mad parodied. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because that game was like a fake motion capture game, and then this girl murdered another girl at the school, and the girls hide it or something like that. Okay.
It's notorious. It's been an in joke for years. I can't believe it's real.
I didn't know it was a real thing. I thought it was just like a dang and
Trap a real thing. It's like Sewer Shark and Night Trap are the two most famous full motion video games or whatever.
I hear they're also remaking System Shock or something. That was like a surprise horror game back in the day or something.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if you ever heard of it. Like it's got like a robot lady.
It was named System Shock, but
it was like a precursor to BioShock.
Oh, okay. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like it's supposed to have like a really big twist, and then they remade it, obviously, and it's just. I heard about that. I don't know if that's coming to Nintendo. I just heard here.
No. Sewer Shark, and Night Trap were both like Sega CD games, and so that's why a lot of people have never played them, and they're famously not very good. Like, I mean, as games, they're janky as heck, is what I hear. They're not great games, but Night Trap is like more famous, and I think people have a little bit more reverence for it. Because it's like a C level horror movie, or even worse, like it's like a D level like horror film, like slasher type flick. I've never watched a playthrough of it because I've always had this in the back of my head that I want to play it someday. So it's a good chance I'll buy this because I don't really have a strong urge to buy a Sega CD and shell out to get the games for it and get it running and all that stuff. So it's like this is kind of like one of the cases where my purist, I want to play it on the original hardware thing isn't fully intact. I'm like, this is a great way, as long as it's an affordable price for what is known to be a not very good game, like a great chance to try it out. I mean, there's a lot I could talk about Sewer Shark, but I mean, if I remember my history correctly, which I may be getting this completely wrong, I think what happened was that Sega needed content for the Sega CD. Like, they didn't have anything for it. And there was a guy that was trying, I'm getting a little bit of my wires crossed in memory here. It's been a minute. But, there was a guy that, started a mini movie studio, maybe for Atari. I could be getting it all confused. And then they didn't want the products or something like that. And they were already, set up to film full motion video and make, these games with video in them. So they had to, basically, they found out, this is not cheap. You have to basically make a movie and then cut it up and then make a game out of it. So that's not cheap. That's actually more expensive than making a game in a lot of ways, And so that's partly why they suck, is because they were biting off more than they could chew, and the costs and, the technology wasn't ready for this stuff. So you basically end up playing a game where you watch little movies and then do stuff and then watch little movies and then do stuff. Not as much like what we were imagining in that era where it was like, oh, there's going to be a movie you can play. No, not so much. It's it's an interactive movie to some degree, but I've never played it. So I'm looking forward to it, Matt. Do you happen to know when they're saying that it comes out? I saw the announcement and I laughed and I thought, no way, the Switch is too good to be true. That was my reaction. I was like, this is too good to be true. They're putting a crappy game on Switch. Awesome. But
I'm surprised they're just
the world changed.
Yep. I know. The world has changed,
Instead of getting random crappy games. All right, let's go.
I know, and we're happy. And it's thank God. Thank God.
Yeah, here's another thing to add to it. It's getting a physical edition from Limited Run Games.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, it says available this summer.
OMG. That's great. That's great to hear. Yeah, I can't wait. I hope it sells well, and then they maybe bring Sewer Shark or something else that I'm not thinking of. I mean, this is getting crazy, guys. That we're getting stuff like this on Switch. Are you joking me? You're bringing one of the most famously bad games ever.
I'm surprised they're making it not even for the Switch. I'm surprised they're bringing it back at all.
I know.
Are people gonna buy it? Is it just it's so weird?
Okay.
Is it just it was so weird and probably barely anyone played it and they think people are gonna buy it? Is that why? Because it's just such a random game out of history to just be we're gonna remake this weird crappy game that people probably hated. They're doing it. It's probably riding on that
it's got such a legend of people like my age, and not even just my age, like anybody who's kind of into retro gaming. It's one of the legends of retro gaming. That is just like, it's not even that retro. It's Sega CD, so it's like, it's not like new. That's
but the thing is, Sega CD games, like Dreamcast games, are like wowzers because those. Remember, they didn't sell well. Like to us, they're regular,
right?
But like, to like other people, are like, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like I think like Skies of Arcadia is like a game like that, or our Skies of Arcadia 2.
Yep. Totally. So, and like there's a certain amount of nostalgia just for the medium, because nobody's gonna get like a Sega CD. Not many people are gonna go out and get a Sega CD anymore. Like it's not as easy. It's not likely as an NES or a Super NES where you like even your casual people might go buy one at a yard sale because they see it and they're like, "Oh, dude, I just want to play Mario. I want to play Metroid or whatever." It's like, and like have that fond memory. It's like this is really too obscure for your average Joe to like go and be like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get a Sega
the old average Joe."
And like and then go get this game that I heard about was really awful and spend all this money just to play it. It's like, no. This is because it's right in that sweet spot of legendary. Like it's so legendary, like as a bad game that you're just like, okay, this is like watching a bad movie, like to a lot of people. Like, you're like, I really want to see it because I've heard it's so awful, like that kind of thing. So, like, and that's I'm going to say as long as it's less than $20, it's the kind of thing I would buy. I'd put it in my wish list instantly, and I'd be like, oh my god, but. To your point, Matt, like, I mean, what you're saying there is like or one he said, like, how times have changed. I think Mike said it's like, we are living in some crazy times. Like Nintendo, like your system is so baller. You can have like crappy old historical games come out in a cool way. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like that's crazy. Like, I'm just used to Nintendo just getting, Nintendo-esque games, aka their own games.
Yeah, we even got some of Sony's old games.
Yeah,
Crash
this is
Spyro.
this. I know, right? I mean, yes, Pyro, right? Yeah, no, right? Like, I mean, it's just like.
Wait, Spyro? Oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
Oh,
Crash.
Well, I guess Spyro hasn't been announced, but I mean, like.
Yeah, but like Crash though, like.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
If we were still back in the my IGN days, guys, I got to give a shout. I would just have a blog post like in the chamber right out of this conversation. I'd be like just that idea, like exploring the idea of like this is the benchmark we're not paying attention to. Like this is like some kind of milestone here that you could miss if you're not paying attention is what I'm trying to get at. The idea that like Nintendo system is so hot, people want to bring back like forgotten garbage like on it. Like it's so hard to explain the idea, but it's like a classic movie that like everyone hates to love to hate. You're just like that. This is something different. This isn't like the biggest games coming to the system. This is the cult games coming to the system. Is what we're hitting here. They're like, all right, someone's gonna pay to do this. Like that's like someone's gonna pay to make this game happen on Switch. Like, all right, I'm in. But yeah, good days. Good days for Nintendo fans. So, totes. Thanks for bringing that up, Matt. I forgot all about it. There's been nothing but Labo and like rock concerts in my brain this weekend. So like,
no,
I've been busy.
Like that. One quick thing that before we go, I looked up System Shock the remake because I didn't even know they were making a remake of it, and I didn't read the whole story, but basically some problems happened and. The Kickstarter says it was supposed to come out, at the end of 2017, which Kickstarter like release dates for games are always like a year or two behind anyway, so it's always bullcrap when they say that. But apparently on Wikipedia it's listed as Q1 of 2020, so gonna be waiting quite a while for that. Apparently, that's insane.
Huh. Yeah, that's a long lead time. It was announced
back in. Oh man, I can't find when it was announced, but it probably in 2016 or something. That's insane.
That's
oh yeah, I was right. Funded June 2016. It's not going to come out for like 4 years.
That's why.
That's crazy. Basically, what I found was they were remaking it, and then they were ending up like almost making a new game, and they're like, "Oh crap, we're making a new game. We got to fix that." I don't know why that's going to take, so much longer, but whatever. I just thought it was interesting to point out. Anyway, we'll wrap that up there for this week. You can find me at the Mango Viking on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Source Gaming. And check out an article I wrote. It's called a Dream Smash article, where you create a moveset for a character that either you think would come in or would just be cool because it's just a what if scenario. But I think this character is going to come in. It's the Excite Biker from the Excite Bike, and I made a moveset with some motocross moves, and I think it's pretty cool.
You went over the top with that article, man. Mike, you should check out his thing.
I actually did. It was really well done. I was even reading the comments too, and some people are like, "Dude, they're like, I'd love to have this as a reference or something like that."
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
I was just like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, Matt. You don't do things halfway when you choose to do them, my friend. This is like me being like, no, wait, it still goes on. He has more data. This looks like a real Smash web page that I dial into when I'm like, I just got to remember how to do the flopping fish with Sheik, and then it's like, oh my god, there's way too much information here.
Oh man, you should see my YouTube comments. I always think oh man, I don't have ideas for videos, and then I'll respond to someone's video, and it's basically the script length of their video. It's like, that's an idea I could have made. But yeah,
that's good stuff, man. Good work. Yeah, good work. Keep up the Source gaming, man. You gotta definitely keep posting it, because I'm really bad these days at checking websites unless someone reminds me, or something like that, because I'm already on a computer so much. So definitely keep hyping it on here. It's and keep posting it and stuff, because it's good work.
Definitely, thanks. And Mike, where can people find you?
Hi guys, find me at Gaming Night Live on YouTube, or TroyFP7 on Twitter. Man, freaking! All I gotta say is these game of the year, game of all time, this GOAT tournament, it's getting to me. Okay? You guys don't know, I toss and turn and sleep. You guys forcing me to, they're like, hey Mike, let's all pick all your games, and it's a rough life out here. Guy with good taste who has to eliminate his own games,
So wait, I don't think we figured this out. Did Mike put in Mario 64 and Banjo-Tooie?
Yep.
Okay.
He did. But Matt, you forgot. You also put in Mario 64.
I kind of had a feeling, but I didn't want to say. Yeah. I wanted to, keep secret that I prepared for Banjo-Tooie. So I'm like, why don't you take Mario? Just throwing it at them.
Yeah. Yep. No, I get it now. I was confused too. Mike, it was before Mike arrived, and we were all debating about wait, whose games are these? And I was
I take credit for both. But totally my thing.
Mike, the great thing about having your own games fight each other is you're guaranteed to get one of them in.
Yep, it is. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. So it's a little easier of a letdown there, right there. So.
And Unoclay, where can people find you?
I've been posting a little more frequently on Twitter at Unoclay_Switch, and my YouTube channel, Unoclay Gaming. I put up a video that's more of an experiment than anything this past week for people that got the 8BitO Bluetooth adapter. Some hints and tricks for getting to sync correctly with your Wii U Pro controller. So you can find that at Unoclay Gaming on the YouTubes. The tubes, bros. Is that what the kids say? The tubes? Get it up on the tubes.
Tubes, bro. Man. Cool.
Cool, yeah, definitely check out this video. I thought Mike was going to say something.
No, I was going to say, Clay, just make sure you record some of that Labo for the kids.
For sure. I'll get it up there soon. All right, late.
Cool.
All right, boys.
All right, so wherever you're listening, you can find us at Just Another Castle at every platform on the internet. Hit us up with your questions, or if you're interested in being a guest, at Just Another Castle, or me at the Mango Viking. So until next time, leave luck to the heavens and leave gaming to Nintendo.